Have you ever considered that the shoes on your feet could quietly be stealing your independence? Every year, over 300,000 older adults are hospitalized due to falls. Yet nearly half of those accidents are directly linked to inappropriate footwear. This isn't a minor oversight, it's a silent threat hiding in your closet. Let me introduce you to Richard, a 73-year-old, former mail carrier. One rainy morning, he slipped in his kitchen wearing a pair of familiar, broken-in slippers. The result? A shattered hip and a hard truth. I thought I was just being comfortable. He told me, but I didn't realize my comfort came at a cost. What if I told you that small changes in your footwear could completely shift your future? By the end of this video, you'll learn the 8 footwear mistakes that quietly sabotage the lives of older adults and the 3 simple, powerful solutions that helped Richard go from struggling to walk across his living room to confidently dancing at his granddaughter's wedding. This is not about fashion. It's about freedom, safety, and living on your terms. As we grow older, even small misalignments in how we walk can create big problems. Stiff joints, reduced flexibility, and worn cartilage mean that every step carries more risk than before. What used to be minor discomfort can turn into lasting pain that affects your knees, hips, or back. Richard found this out the hard way. I kept wearing the same type of shoes I'd worn for decades. He told me, no one ever said my feet had changed, but they had, and his body started paying the price. That's why we're diving into the 8 most dangerous footwear mistakes that older adults make often without realizing it. And more importantly, we'll share 3 practical solutions that foot specialists recommend to their own parents but don't always talk about in public. These small changes helped Richard regain control of his body and his life. If you've ever dealt with foot pain that held you back or felt unsure while walking on certain surfaces, stay with us. And if this information already feels helpful, go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Your feet and your freedom deserve better. You might think you've already outgrown high heels, but even low, so-called sensible heels could still be putting your health at serious risk. Any heel, yes, even those just 1 or 2 inches high, shifts your entire body weight forward unnaturally. That shift increases pressure on the ball of your foot by up to 75%. Over time, your toes are forced into a cramped position again and again, day after day. This doesn't just affect your feet, it throws off the alignment of your knees, hips, and spine, and the longer it goes on, the worse the damage becomes. Eleanor, a 71-year-old former school principal, experienced this firsthand. For decades, she wore small block heels to work, believing they were a smart compromise. I thought avoiding stilettos meant I was safe. She shared, but once I retired, my feet started hurting constantly. I couldn't walk to the mailbox without pain. Eventually, she was diagnosed with advanced bunions and joint inflammation that required surgery and months of recovery. What shocked her most wasn't the surgery. It was realizing that the damage had been building for years without her noticing. Her so-called comfortable shoes had been quietly sabotaging her mobility. Even if you no longer wear heels often, decades of use can leave behind hidden problems. As we age, the fat padding that once protected our feet thins out. Old injuries and imbalances that once went unnoticed begin to surface, making old heel habits more dangerous than ever. If you're still holding onto that pair of heels for special occasions, now might be the time to reconsider. Your balance, joint health, and independence are worth more than any stylish shoe. At first glance, flip-flops seem harmless. They're light, easy, and perfect for warm weather. But for aging feet, they can quietly become a serious hazard. Every step in flip-flops forces your toes to grip tightly to keep the shoe in place. Over time, this unnatural movement changes how you walk. It strains the muscles in your feet and sends tension upward through your knees, hips, and lower back. Marianne, a 70-year-old grandmother, learned this the hard way during a beach trip to California. I wore flip-flops everywhere. She recalled, by the 3rd day, I couldn't even stand without sharp pain in my heel. Her doctor diagnosed her with plantar fasciitis, an inflammation of the tissue connecting heel to toes. 6 months of physical therapy followed, and she missed out on an entire season of mobility. What many older adults don't realize is that flip-flops offer no arch support and no shock absorption. Each step sends impact forces straight into bones and joints that are already less resilient with age. Even if you've worn flip-flops comfortably for decades, your feet are changing. The support you never needed before becomes essential after 60. That soft, flat sandal may feel familiar, but it could be silently stealing your strength and balance. Let's talk about a mistake that might be hiding right under your feet. Literally, worn-out sneakers. They may look fine on the outside, but after months of use, their hidden damage can quietly harm your joints. Here's the truth. Athletic shoes lose nearly 40% of their shock absorption and structure within 6 months of daily wear, even if the soles still look good. The inside support breaks down first, especially the midsole foam that cushions your steps. That leaves your knees, hips, and back to absorb every impact, step after step. Many older adults don't realize this because we were raised to be frugal. Replacing things that still look okay feels wasteful. But when it comes to your shoes, waiting too long could cost you more than you think. Take George, a 76-year-old former mechanic. My sneakers looked fine after 2 years. He told me, no holes. Tread still there. Even the laces look new. But behind that clean appearance, his shoes had lost all support. The result? Ongoing knee pain that kept him off his feet for months until a simple shoe replacement turned everything around. Here's a quick home test. Grab your everyday shoes and twist them from heel to toe. If they twist easily, their structural support is gone. A good shoe should bend only at the ball of the foot, not like a wrung-out towel. George's new sneakers cost $70. They helped him avoid a potential $4,000 medical bill for physical therapy. When was the last time you replaced your walking shoes? If it's been over 6 months of daily use, today's video might just save you from pain and a medical expense you didn't see coming. Let's talk about a footwear mistake that feels comfortable but quietly raises your risk of falling every single day. Backless slippers. They're soft, familiar, and easy to slip on, but the moment you wear them, your entire walking pattern begins to change. With each step, your toes instinctively grip to keep the slipper from falling off. That subtle motion shortens your stride and tightens muscles up your legs. Over time, this leads to reduced ankle stability and compromised balance, even if you don't notice it happening. Martha, a 78-year-old retired librarian, wore her favorite backless slippers every morning. They were cozy and quick to throw on, she said. But one day, as she hurried to answer the phone, she slipped on her hardwood stairs and fractured her wrist. Her doctor later told her it was a common story among older adults. Soft slippers with no back cause more falls than people realized. In fact, studies show that 38% of at-home falls involve improper house shoes, and backless designs are often the culprit. Think about it, would you drive without a seatbelt just because it feels more comfortable? Yet many older adults do the equivalent by relying on backless slippers for convenience. The good news is, safer alternatives now exist. Some foot specialists recommend designs that completely move away from traditional slippers and in clinical trials. They've been shown to reduce fall risk by as much as 62%. The fifth footwear mistake often hides in plain sight: shoes with smooth or worn-down soles. They may look elegant, especially dress shoes or loafers, but the lack of grip turns everyday floors into danger zones. Over time, the soles lose their traction, and even a small patch of water in the kitchen or on the bathroom floor can become a slipping hazard. 75-year-old Edward, a retired engineer, learned this the hard way. I had just polished my leather shoes, he said. I stepped into the bathroom after my wife had taken a shower. The floor wasn't even wet, just slightly damp. My foot slid out from under me so quickly, I didn't have a chance to brace myself. The result? A strained lower back that kept him from walking comfortably for weeks. Unfortunately, many seniors brush off these moments as just being clumsy, never realizing their shoes were the real culprit. Here's a quick way to check. Put on your usual indoor shoes and try sliding your foot forward on a tile surface. If it moves too easily, it's time to consider safer options. Proper footwear should grip the floor even when it's smooth. Have you ever had a near fall that you didn't think much of at the time? Share your story in the comments. Your experience could help someone else prevent a serious injury. Let's talk about something many older adults don't realize: their feet have changed more than they think. And that brings us to dangerous footwear mistake. Number 6, tight-fitting dress shoes. Most people don't know this, but your feet naturally widen as you age. After years of standing, walking, and the natural loosening of ligaments, the bones in your feet spread out. By the time you're in your 70s, your foot could be almost half a size wider than it was at 40. Yet many seniors continue wearing the same size they wore in their younger days. Wearing narrow shoes on wider feet does more than cause discomfort. It can reduce blood circulation and compress nerves, leading to numbness, balance issues, and a higher risk of falls, especially for those with diabetes or neuropathy. 74-year-old Raymond, a retired music teacher, hadn't worn formal shoes in years until his niece's wedding. They still looked new, he said, and I thought they fit fine. But hours later, his feet were burning, and the numbness didn't go away. Over the following days, he kept stumbling around the house, unsure of where his feet were landing. The diagnosis: mild nerve compression, made worse by tight shoes. Foot pain doesn't just affect your feet, it changes how you walk, which stresses your knees, hips, and lower back. And here's a surprising fact: your feet can get wider without getting longer. So even if your shoes seem to fit in length, they could still be harming you in width. The 7th dangerous footwear mistake isn't technically footwear at all, but rather the decision to go without it. And surprisingly, many older adults are doing this right now, in their own homes, without ever realizing the risk. Walking barefoot may seem comfortable or even natural, but after 60, this habit becomes significantly more hazardous. Studies show that seniors who go barefoot indoors are up to 37% more likely to suffer falls compared to those who wear soft, supportive house shoes. Without proper support or shock absorption, the feet and ankles work harder to maintain balance, especially on hard flooring like tile or hardwood. But the danger doesn't stop there. Walking barefoot on modern surfaces like tile can send 7 times more shock into aging joints than walking on grass or carpet. For those already managing arthritis or joint degeneration, this added stress can worsen pain and mobility. 76-year-old Walter learned this the hard way. I stepped on a dry cereal flake in the kitchen, he recalled. Didn't feel a thing, but I have mild neuropathy, and a tiny cut I couldn't sense turned into a slow-healing sore. That sore later required 3 months of wound care and antibiotics. While barefoot walking might work for younger people with thick fat pads and strong arches, it's a different story for aging feet. As podiatrist Dr. Ellen Park explains, it's like removing the shock absorbers from an old car. Are you barefoot right now while watching this? You may want to think twice. The next mistake we'll cover is one that nearly 90% of older adults make, and it might already be in your closet. Our final footwear mistake is one that many older adults make with good intentions, relying on just one good pair of shoes for every activity. It sounds simple and practical, but for aging feet, it's a hidden hazard. 74-year-old Harold thought he was doing the smart thing. He bought a sturdy pair of walking boots, comfortable, supportive, and not cheap. I wore them for everything, he shared, walking in the park, gardening in the yard, even at church when my dress shoes hurt. But that one-size-fits-all approach backfired. When kneeling and standing during gardening, his boots lacked the side support he needed, putting pressure on his knees. Dirt trapped in the treads reduced traction on smooth sidewalks, and wearing the same pair non-stop caused them to wear out long before expected. That's why foot health specialists now recommend dividing your shoes into zones, one for daily walking and errands, one for specific tasks like gardening or exercise, and one for safe movement inside the home. The truth is, one trip to the emergency room from a fall can cost more than buying 3 purpose-built pairs Saving money feels wise until it silently steals your stability. Would your feet thank you for a little variety? One of the most powerful changes for older adults is also one of the most overlooked: getting your feet professionally fitted by a specialist who understands the aging foot. It may sound simple, but it can be a total game changer. Most people don't realize that over 80% of adults wear shoes that are either too short, too narrow, or just not suited to how their feet have changed with age. After 60, the shape of your foot begins to shift. The arches may drop, the tendons loosen, and the width of your foot often increases by half a size or more, but very few seniors take this into account. Eleanor, a retired librarian in her 70s, always bought the same size she'd worn for decades until foot pain forced her to visit a specialty shoe store. The expert there didn't just measure my feet, she said. He watched me walk, checked my arches, and even looked at the pressure points under my heels. The session lasted nearly an hour. What he found shocked her. She had been wearing a full size too small in width for years, which was contributing to nerve compression and poor balance. Once she switched to shoes fitted for her actual foot shape, her pain reduced dramatically, and she felt far more stable walking on hard surfaces. A proper professional fitting includes 4 steps. First, both feet are measured individually while standing. Second, width is assessed at several points. Third, the arch height and flexibility are evaluated. And fourth, a walking analysis is performed to see how your body distributes weight. To get this done right, look for stores that focus on comfort or orthopedic footwear. Ask if their staff has training in senior foot care or podiatric support. If possible, find a certified pediatrist or someone who specializes in fitting footwear for medical or age-related conditions. When was the last time you had your feet properly measured? If the answer is not in decades, your next pair of shoes could dramatically change how you move, feel, and stay independent. The second essential solution is called the 3-zone footwear system, a strategy that recognizes one pair of shoes simply can't meet all the needs of older adults throughout the day. Zone 1 is for the home. These shoes should have a closed heel, anti-slip rubber soles, and be easy to put on and take off. Wearing supportive footwear at home reduces stiffness in the morning and lowers fall risk. Zone 2 covers daily activities. This includes errands, short walks, or social visits. Shoes in this category should offer good arch support, cushioning suited to body weight, and a secure, stable fit. Choosing the right pair here can help relieve joint pain. Zone 3 is activity-specific. Whether it's walking, gardening, or special events, each activity demands specialized footwear. Using the wrong shoe for the wrong task leads to quicker wear and potential injury. Dividing your footwear needs into these 3 zones not only improves comfort and mobility, it can save money by preventing falls and reducing long-term joint strain. For many older adults, the real breakthrough in mobility comes not from new shoes, but from what you place inside them. Our third and most transformative solution focuses on custom orthotics and simple adjustments that turn regular footwear into therapeutic support systems. Many seniors mistakenly believe that cushioned insoles from the store are enough, but here's the truth. Mass-market insoles only offer softness. True orthotics go deeper. They realign your feet, correct your gait, and distribute pressure where your body needs it most. Think of the difference like using generic reading glasses versus wearing prescription lenses tailored just for your eyes. Now, you don't always need expensive podiatrist-made orthotics to see results. In fact, Helen, a 72-year-old retired librarian, discovered affordable, moldable inserts online. She simply warmed them in the oven, stepped in to shape them, and found they offered incredible support under her arches right where she needed it. Studies show these semi-custom inserts deliver up to 80% of the benefit of fully custom orthotics at a fraction of the cost. And for those with chronic conditions like diabetes or arthritis, Medicare may even cover prescription orthotics if they're framed as essential for fall prevention. Beyond inserts, small shoe modifications can make a huge difference. Stretching tight areas, using targeted padding, or replacing flat factory insoles with shock-absorbing gel versions can dramatically reduce joint strain. As Helen says, "I didn't need new shoes, I just needed smarter ones." She now applies these principles to every pair she owns, extending their life while transforming her comfort. Have you ever tried orthotics or made adjustments to your shoes? Share your experience in the comments. You never know who you might help take their next step with more confidence. Let's go back to Leonard's journey. Just 6 months after applying these 3 simple but powerful changes, his transformation was nothing short of extraordinary. "I used to take painkillers every morning just to walk around my apartment," Leonard shared, a quiet smile crossing his face. "Now, I average over 5,000 steps a day without any discomfort. I feel steady, confident, free again." The fear that once kept him indoors has vanished, and the results weren't just feelings, they were measurable. His balance assessment showed a 38% improvement. He hasn't had a single fall since he started taking footwear seriously. But what touched him most was what he gained back emotionally. Just last month, Leonard took his great-grandson to the local park, climbing small hills and exploring nature trails. He looked at me and asked, "Grandpa, how come you never came with me before?" And I couldn't say it was because I was scared, but I was. Before all this, Leonard spent most of his time watching life from the window. Now, he's part of it again. This is the heart of it all. The shoes you choose today shape the life you can live tomorrow. Whether you're walking, resting, or just standing at the kitchen counter, every moment depends on your footing. Let's quickly recap the 8 footwear dangers we covered in this video. High heels, flip-flops, worn-out sneakers, backless slippers, smooth-soled shoes, tight dress shoes, going barefoot, and the one-pair-fits-all mindset. And remember the 3 solutions that changed Leonard's life: a professional fitting, the 3-zone system, and custom orthotics or adjustments. Which part of Leonard's story or which footwear mistake surprised you the most? Leave us a comment below. And if you want more insights to help you thrive in your later years, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.